this could be good for me. Lately I was feeling like I need a purpose, but when you talk to me, give me the impression that I won't scratch your surface. And I could walk for days, searching for your place.
Good morning, guys, and happy last day of the reading rush. I can't believe it's day 7. I am just so thankful we are at the end. Not that I don't love daily vlogging, but you know, it takes a toll. It's exhausting to film and edit every single day. This morning I started working on my August reading journal, so you guys got a little bit sneak peek of that. I'll be doing my flip through in a few weeks, so look out for that. And then I also FaceTimed my friend Erin over at Ripley's Reads. I'll leave her link down below, but we were just catching up and planning some movie nights, so she's amazing. Go follow her. It's now like 12:30, so we are just going to read. As you guys know, the book that I'm reading is on my phone. It's Graythorn by Crystal Smith, which is the second book in the Bloodleaf series. It comes out in September, I believe, but I couldn't wait, so I requested an ARC from the publisher, and I cannot wait to read and review it. I don't think I ever actually told you guys what Bloodleaf was about. It is about a princess named Aurelia who possesses blood magic, but the kingdom she's living in, they hunt witches there, and her family is afraid of what they'll do to her once they figure out that she has magic. So when a mob tries to come and assassinate her, Aurelia flees to the neighboring kingdom where she is supposed to be married to the prince as an arranged marriage. So she goes to seek refuge in this other land where they also have problems specifically pertaining to magic, and Aurelia has to figure out how to keep magic from crumbling. So that is the very basic, very generic plot of Bloodleaf. So this is the second book in that series. It's about 350 pages, I believe, but like 500 pages on the ebook, so I'm confident. I think we can do this. Also, a little bit later today, I asked on Instagram yesterday about if you guys had any questions for me. I thought of doing a little Q&A at the end of the reading rush, so thank you guys for submitting questions, so I will be answering those later. And right now we're just gonna read and eat lunch and then, you know, read some more. So I thought I would start the Q&A portion of this video. You guys asked some really great questions and I can't wait to get to them. So the first question asked is, how do you find time to film videos, edit, and read while doing other things? And quite simply, the answer is I barely do it. I think what's important to me of all those things is definitely the reading, and obviously school comes first, but it's the summer, so I haven't had to do that. But I definitely try to carve out at least 30 minutes every day, reading rush notwithstanding, to read. I think that just 30 minutes every day gives you the opportunity to rest and relax and just go to another place in a book. So I definitely try to do that. As for like editing and video editing and things like that, I do that pretty immediately after I film. So when I film a video, I usually block off an hour or two and film and edit in the same time frame, just because that way it's fresh in my mind and I can just get it done and get it out there as quickly as possible. So I'm all for saving time efficient strategies, so those are just a few of the ways I do that. Next up we have you read the Lux series? I just started it. Yes, so if you have been following for a while, I love the Lux series. It is a series I read when I was in middle school and I continue to love it to this day, just for all that nostalgia, for that enemies to lovers, next door neighbor romance, for the cliche paranormal setting of aliens living next door. There's just everything about it makes me really happy. I love the characters, and I love that as the series has grown, the characters have grown with it, so now they are much more mature than they were in the first book. So I just love Jennifer L. Armentrout, who is the author of that series. I think she's an amazing writer who has gone into so many different categories and genres of writing, and I think she does everything well. But yeah, I absolutely adore the Lux series. Feel free to chat about it with me anytime. So the next question is, who is your favorite small BIPOC booktuber? And please let me know if I'm not saying that term correctly. I feel like I'm not. Just let me know down below. And I'm going to say a booktuber who is not small anymore, but he was when I followed him, and I absolutely adore his videos, and I think that they're just so creative and funny, and that would be Fictional Fates. If you hadn't had a chance to follow, I highly recommend you do. He is so great. He recommends some really great books by Black authors, and he's just really awesome. I think he just started like a writing series. But he's not small now, but he was when I first followed him, and he's just great, and I highly recommend giving him a subscribe or just giving him a watch. Next question is, what is my favorite fall time treat? Okay, I'm pretty classic in the fact that I love a hot chocolate in the fall time. That hot chocolate with some whipped cream, maybe some cinnamon. I love a cinnamon or mint hot chocolate. I'm also a big muffin person. In the fall, I always get like a coffee drink or a hot chocolate and a blueberry muffin. It's just my vibe. It's what I love. Sometimes I'll get like a nice little chocolate chip cookie, but I'm very classic in my treats. So these aren't even just pertaining to fall. I will have these things all year long. So I guess like these would be my fall treats, but they would also be my spring, summer, and winter treats. I don't limit my desserts and my sugars and my treats. I don't limit that to one season. Next up we have, what do you do when you're not motivated to make/post videos? The answer is quite simply, then I don't post videos. If I'm not motivated to make a video or make a post, I'm not going to, because chances are if I'm rushing to make a video or rushing to create a photo, it's not going to be good and it's not going to be up to my personal standards. So quite simply, I just won't post if that happens. Thankfully, once again, knock on wood, that hasn't happened yet, but it has. Like some weeks I'll be like, I'm not posting a video this Thursday, I'm not posting a video this Monday, but I just think that everyone has their ups and downs, and sometimes we set impossible standards for ourselves, like 2 videos a week, and sometimes those are hard standards to meet, and everyone needs a break, and everyone needs to be understanding of that because we're all human. So yeah, if I don't have the motivation or have something planned, I won't do it. The next question is, what got me into reading? Well, I've been reading from a very young age. I've always been an introverted, socially awkward child. I'm still socially awkward if we're honest. But reading has always just been a really amazing escape for me. I started reading when I was really little. It sort of came in and out of my life from the early stages, but I think 6th grade, 5th or 6th grade is really when I became like such an avid reader as I am right now. It definitely helped with big franchises like The Hunger Games and Divergent coming out. Those books motivated me to read and also get very involved in the fandoms. And I think really that's when like my love of reading like really rocketed out of control, because this is out of control. But I've just been reading my whole life, and it's always stemmed from the desire to visit other worlds and sort of to be in a place that I wasn't at the moment. As someone who is very awkward and anxious, I often wished I was in another world or another place, and books help me sort of visualize that and see myself in new places, and that really helped me throughout school and throughout all the other life experiences I won't go through. But yeah, that's really where my love of reading stemmed from. The next question is, how do you deal with reading slumps and have the motivation to read so much? So thankfully, there are so many amazing writers out there, and they keep producing really great books, and therefore I must read those books, and that is how I read so much, because people just keep coming out with things I'm interested in, and therefore I keep reading. And I have a lot of friends who recommend books to me, and BookTube and Book Talk and Book Twitter and all the book communities keep giving me books to read, and I can't help it anymore. So I find that anytime I get close to my TBR being done, there's always something else. So for me, it's just really easy to keep reading because I keep finding books I like. And I am very aware of my own reading tastes and aware of what I like and what I don't like. So I tend to pick up books that I know I will like or suspect I will like, and that sort of keeps it going, you know? That helps me find books that I'm going to enjoy, which is really the purpose of reading, to enjoy yourself. And for the second question, how do you deal with reading slumps? It doesn't happen often, but it happens. It happens to everyone. You just get out of reading, and I personally find that when I'm in a reading slump and I just can't get through something, I reread, honestly. I go back to the books that made me love reading, and I reread those to sort of give me that little kickstart. So my middle school favorites, like the Lux series, I read that when I'm in reading slumps. Harry Potter, The Goddess Test by Amy Carter. I loved those books when I was in middle school. So those books that really kick-started my love of reading, I go back to those in reading slumps, sort of to remind myself why I read. Next up, we have the story of how I started my Bookstagram. Well, that's kind of, I guess it's interesting. Bookstagram was the first book community I joined shortly after I started book blogging, but I didn't really make any friends through that. I really wanted to be in the middle of things. I'd been following Bookstagrammers for a really long time. It seems like such a nice community, and I wanted that community to talk about my favorite books with, so I made the decision to start a Bookstagram, and it failed. And then 4 years later, in my freshman year of college, I decided to try again, and this time maybe do a bit more research and really come up with an aesthetic for myself and really make it a goal to make friends. And this time it's been successful. So I've been on Bookstagram for almost 2 years now, which is crazy. And I've met so many amazing people and made so many amazing friends, and that's really the story. Even though I personally enjoy crafting beautiful photos of books to put in my feed, for me it really is about the community and commenting and liking on other people's posts and having conversations with people. So that is really like why I started my Bookstagram, and it's why I still continue to love doing it. The next question we have is kind of a twofer. It's what are your all-time favorite books and what are your all-time favorite characters? Okay. Whew. My all-time favorite books. I honestly, I love and appreciate that people ask this question, but it is so difficult because immediately I go back to the classics that I love. I go back to The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. I go back to Harry Potter. I go back to Percy Jackson, but I'm trying to think more recently. What are some recent books I have loved? Maybe for all time, though most of the books I love, I'll love for all time. I guess the Shadowhunter books are just such a special thing for me. The Cruel Prince series also was just one that I found so many friends through, so I'll always be thankful to that one. Any more? It's just so hard. And the Lux series, I guess, that I've already talked about twice throughout this question and answer section. So yeah, those are just a few of my favorite all-time books. I think that the Romance Book Club by Lisa K. Adams also might be added to that list because it is definitely one of my favorite romances of the year so far. The second part of that question was, what are your all-time favorite characters? Ooh. So one of my favorite characters of all time has to be Annabeth Chase from the Percy Jackson series, and this is gonna sound so shallow, or maybe not, I don't know. It was because I hadn't really seen a main character who was strong and intelligent with blonde hair. Up until I'd read the Percy Jackson books, I just saw blonde-haired girls being depicted as like Barbies and the dimwits of the group or the mean girls in a movie. But with Annabeth, it was nice to read about a character who was blonde and also like really kick-ass and smart, and I really wanted to be her because she was me, and as a 12-year-old I related to her, not just with, the hair, but with her attitude and personality. She is who I aspired to be, so Annabeth will always have a special place in my heart. If I had any ability to cosplay as her, I would. And I'm sure other characters are my favorites, but I can't think of any right now, so maybe I'll do another video of like my all-time favorite characters. And I'll dress up as them. May have to write that one down. The final question I'm going to answer is actually a pretty cool one. It's what's your favorite character from the books you've read this week, so during the reading rush. Ooh, now I have to remember what books I read during the reading rush. I feel like the beginning of this feels so long ago. I don't remember what I read, so let's look. Okay, I have one. So, my favorite character, I think, from the books I read this week, can I say all of them from Crazy Rich Asians by Kevin Kwan? I love them all so much, but mostly I loved Astrid from Crazy Rich Asians. She is so different than how she is in the movie. She just gets a lot more screen time, and she was so much more of an interesting character when you read the book. So I don't know, I really loved delving into her character, and I heard she gets even more screen time or page time in the second book, so I'm just really excited about that. But yeah, those were all the questions you guys asked me. Thank you guys so much for submitting them. It means a ton to me. I'm about almost halfway through Graythorn by Crystal Smith, and we are just going to read more. It is 4 p.m. right now, and I'm gonna go read. So thank you guys for asking questions and participating in this little Q&A.
Lost in your
Exciting news, you guys. I just finished Graythorn, and therefore I have completed the reading rush. Oh my god, I'm tired. I'm definitely happy with my decision to read 6 instead of 7 books this year. I just don't think it was realistic for me at this time around. I'm really happy with the books I did choose. Let's go over them. The first book I read or listened to during the reading rush was Crazy Rich Asians by Kevin Kwan, to which I gave 5 stars. I absolutely loved it. I was already anticipating really liking it after watching the movie, but the book just blew me away. Next up, I read The Sea of Monsters by Rick Riordan. This will be a 4-star for me, which is a difference from the original review I gave it in 2011, which was a 5-star rating. And while it was really fun and enjoyable to read, I just didn't like it as much as the first book, which doesn't mean I obviously didn't love the book. It's such a big part of my childhood. So yes, that was 4 stars for me, but still loved it. Next up, I read The New Queer Conscience by Adam Eli, or Ellie, to which I gave 5 stars. This is part of the Pocket Change Collective, which are little mini stories from different perspectives from people throughout America on climate change, on being queer in America, on immigration. This one specifically talked about the intersectionality of Judaism and the LGBTQIA+ community, and how as humans we all just need to be more supportive of each other. Next, I read The Guinevere Deception by Kirsten White, to which I gave 3 stars. I thoroughly enjoyed the beginning of it, but I felt like the ending really kind of tapered off and I didn't really get a satisfying ending to the book, even though there is another book in the series. It just wasn't that great. Next up, we have My Hero Academia Volume 2, to which I gave 3 stars. Once again, it's the second book in the manga series. I thought a lot of the beginning of the book was basically just leading up to the very end, and that kind of was boring. As much as I loved the big action scene at the end of the story, it just wasn't satisfying as a whole. Finally, I just finished Graythorn. I gave that 4 stars. It had a lot of explaining and a lot of descriptions at the beginning. They were trying to catch you up to what happened in the month between where the first book ended and where the second book starts. But once you get over that hill, that very big hill, it gets really good with lots of twists and turns and ended in a really, really satisfying place. I am so excited to read the next book, which probably isn't going to be out for a while. But yeah, those were the 6 books that I read over the reading rush. As you guys saw, I finished logging them all into my reading rush account. I also finished putting them in my reading journal and on Goodreads, and I think that's it. I think that is the end of the daily vlogging. So I hope you guys had fun spending the week with me. I know I had fun spending the week with you guys, and I can't wait to see you guys in my next non-vlogging video. So if you guys liked this whole series, don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment. Hit the notification bell to get updates on when I post. I post every single Monday and Thursday now, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!